Ready to go?
Yep.
See?
You've got to tell those people who want you to sit down.
Guys, would you like to take a seat? Please. You two in. Got a few more moments before you get up here, alright? Just relax, focus.
You told me you didn't.
Yes, I did. But you might have one permanently in. No.
We'll check the box in a moment.
Oh, you might have one?
Yeah, might have one.
Yeah.
Okay?
Hey, mate, how you doing? Good to see you back on your feet.
Yes, it's good to be back on.
What can I say?
I'm
What can I
inside the computer
say?
this time, not outside.
Okay. Sure.
Ready to rock and roll? Okay. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. What a fantastic evening we've got ahead of us. But we have some housekeeping rules we've got to start with. First things first is put your phones on silent or switched off altogether, please. Appreciate that for the speakers and the workshops that's happening ahead of us. As well as that, should you need to use the facilities of this fine establishment, the Duke of Brunswick Hotel, through the door there into the toilets, male and female down there, select the one that you need to use. It's a no smoking venue, so could you please, if you need to have your cigarette, please leave the premises, go out the front, maybe across the road, and go your hardest. And should we need to leave this establishment in an emergency, what we've got to do is go straight down the stairs, straight out the exit, and we'll meet over in the far corner across the way. Toastmasters and guests, keep an open mind, put a smile on your face, and let's have a fantastic evening. As the Toastmaster, what a fantastic evening we've got ahead of us. We're investing ourselves in the assurance and investment we can. That's what we're about, is to make ourselves grow within, to make ourselves happy, stronger, more knowledgeable. That's what it's all about. Toastmasters, I will put it out here right now to you. Once you've learnt something, you keep on expanding from there. We've got a session now which is called Inspirational Thought of the Day. And this thought of the day will be run by Sam, and he's our speaker for Inspiration Thought.
Before we get into that, can I say something, Mr.
Certainly.
Toastmaster? And I'll say it at the front for those online to hear. The microphone here on the lectern will pick up your words, so you don't need to shout. Please don't tap the desk because the microphone is going to pick up that and send it across the internet. And you just need to talk normally and you'll be fine. Timer? Timer's over here, I think.
Yeah, timer's over here to one side.
Other than that, all good.
Everybody, please welcome Sam up to the lectern, please.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Inspirational and thought of the day. What comes to me at this moment is nursery rhymes. I found nursery rhymes so inspirational and had a leading story to it. And my favourite is row, row, row your boat. Don't need to worry anybody else's boat. Don't focus on being in their boat. Don't be too concerned how big their boat is. If the boat is leaking over there, just look at your boat. Just row, row, row your boat. Gently down the stream. No need to go against the stream, complaining. What if I had this? If I had this, I could do that. What if I won lotto? Gently down the stream, in an agile sort of format, around the bends. Merrily, merrily, merrily. Always in joy, always in peace, and always being in present. Because Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and Toastmasters in the computer world and guests, because life is just a dream. So enjoy and stay present. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Sam. That was an interesting point of view, and thank you again. Our next speaker for this evening is Bob Stanford. He's our Toastmasters resident photographer. He's also mentoring for people in photography and a teacher in photography. Bob's is an outstanding Toastmaster in so many ways by giving his time away for photography within Toastmasters. You've sure seen us at Division and at contests, workshops. Bob's there with a camera taking photos. Great bit of work. I'd like to welcome Bob Stanford with his speech. So let's welcome Bob Stanford. Are you ready?
Thank you. That'll bring us on if you'll allow me to do that. Oh. I think we lost the connection there, Henry.
Okay, did you switch off the...
No, just hit B on your keyboard. You should bring it all back up. B for black.
There we go.
Oh, no, you've lost your signal now. You've moved the computer.
Okay. So I think it might just be that the computer's gone safe.
I reckon it is there's a connection problem.
There we go.
There we go, Sam, gently down the stream. That's a perfect example of how we should be doing this. And so nothing should faze us. If we've got something to say, be prepared to do it. And if you have a hiccup, just go through doing it. What I'm going to be talking about today is victim master. And if we can see our slide here, we have every choice that you've ever made in life has led you to where you are right now. In fact, I could say, Sam, you chose that seat. We choose everything in life. We choose our job, we choose when we leave, when we stay, we choose our partner. There's nothing that we don't choose. Every choice you've ever made has led you in your life and to the seat you're sitting in to where you are today. When you have challenges in your life, from a present state to a desired state, we have our present state where we are now. Sometimes we're very happy with where we are right now, and other times we have a desired state to where we would like to be. And sometimes there are challenges to move to that one. Here are some of the challenges. What stops you from moving from your present state to your desired state? Sometimes when there's challenges in your life to get to that next level, it could be one of these two things: victim or master. And you know what? Every single one of us has been a victim at some time in your life. I can absolutely guarantee it. And the reason I know that is because I've been a victim many, many times. I could give you stories for the next hour of where I've been a victim in my life. The good news is that back then, when I didn't know that I was being a victim, today I know if I'm a victim. And I'm going to tell you how you too can know when you might have struggled and found out that, okay, maybe I was a victim then, but here's how I can change to become a master. The first thing that a victim does is deny any responsibility. As an example, in sales, if we're doing a sales budget of maybe 5 and we're only doing 3 sales in a week, then I can say this: it's not my fault. I've got the worst territory in the business, and if I had a better territory, then there wouldn't be an issue. It's not my fault. You can't tell me that I could do 5 sales with the rubbish that you hand up to me. It's just not on. Not my fault. Can't take any responsibility for that. And you know what? If I'm there, I'm in denial. That is the first sign of you or me, is the sign of being a victim when we take no responsibility and we deny anything. We can't fix it if we deny it. We don't have any choices. We just deny. The next thing that a victim does is blame somebody or something else. Do you know why I haven't got good sales, Sam? Because you give me the crap allocation. It's your fault that I'm doing badly. So don't look at me. Don't look under my table. Look at yours. If you give me some decent allocation, I'll give you the sales that you want. And besides that, what about this virus? That's an issue. I can't be expected to do those kind of sales right now. It's not my fault. It's somebody else or something else that's standing in the way. There is another step to justify it. I'm in denial. I'm blaming everybody else. And it's very easy to justify that statement with a whole host of things that I can bring up of why my sales aren't good enough, according to you. That's justification. And the last step for a salesperson, I'm out the door. I quit. Oh, there we go. There you go. I do quit. I'm gone. History. Now, that's just one example of how a victim can be categorised. You can tick off those points on a salesperson. But it's not just sales, is it? It's relationships. Ever have a relationship where it's always her fault? She listens to the wrong channel, takes in the wrong information. I've got the right information. She won't listen. It's all her fault. And what's she saying? No. It's not my fault. It's Bob's fault. He's the one that doesn't get it. And now we've got two victims. I'm a victim and she's a victim. And in situations like that, we have a breakdown of a marriage or a relationship because the victims just never get over it. They don't have any choices. What about road rage? Has anybody seen a victim? In road rage, we have two victims, am I right? You can't be a master in a road rage. You have two victims which can result in a death and an imprisonment for another. And we've seen it many times right throughout Australia. Somebody tailgates somebody. They run up their bum. No reason for it because we're in rush hour traffic and you can't get past the car in front anyway, but they're ramming into you. What do? I know what you're thinking. If somebody tailgates me, you know what I'm going to do, don't you? Yeah, you're all thinking it. I'm going to slow down. And I was going 60 now, I'm doing 40. And the person behind me is now getting very irritated. There's no chance we can go faster because there's cars beaming up in front of us. And now we have two people, both blaming the other. The first step, the victim, deny any responsibility and then blame the other person. There you have a victim. And what that leads to is an altercation where you have a bang up, they stop their cars to get out, one gets out with an axe. And I'm not lying about this, it's actually happened. All of those things, that horrible things in road rage that lead to disastrous result come from two people that are both victims in denial and blaming. And they can easily justify, he's the one that cut me off, or he's the one that's pushing me, and he should have kept up with the traffic. We hear it all the time. Does anyone know Hooksy? David Hooks, South Australia's great batsman way back. He played international cricket. And when he finished his international cricket, he came back. And he came back and went to Victoria, and he was a coach, I believe, of the under-19s. Now, with the under-19s team, David was a bit of a mouthpiece. He knew his stuff. He's international, had lots of stories. And so with the young 19-year-olds, he had plenty of stories to tell. And in the pub that night, he had many stories to tell. 3 o'clock in the morning, the bouncer, a young 19-year-old Croatian lad, has told him to clear the bar of all these cricketers, get rid of them. So up he got, without thinking, I'll get rid of these guys. Out he went, and he started yelling and screaming to get these guys out of the bar. We're closed, you've got to get out, that's it, finished, go. And I can imagine Hooksy halfway through a story. And what do you think he was? He would have been pretty offended by that, wouldn't he? And I think he was. And I don't know what happened because I wasn't there. But I know that an altercation erupted between the young bouncer and David and Hooksy. There was no option, he had to leave. They leave, the whole crew left. And as they walked out of the bar, the bouncer, who was very upset with David, followed him out there. And with just one fist and when the king hit him behind the head, David went down to the ground and smashed his head against the curb and died instantly. 2 people, both victims, both denial, both blaming the other. One dead and one up for manslaughter, will spend a lot of time in jail. Now that would never have happened if just either one of these 2 people had become a master. You see, a master takes responsibility. If one of those, if either David or the bouncer had have thought, okay, the bouncer's got to get rid of these guys, and he's going, oh, these guys are having a big time, I'm going to have trouble getting rid of these guys. Maybe I'll just take the soft approach. Hey, you guys, you've got to go. The bar's closed, you can't get any more drinks, so wind up now and off you go and have a good night. If he just had have said that, there would have been no altercation, David would be alive and he wouldn't be up on a manslaughter charge. Or if David, on the other hand, said, hey, bouncers, where do they get off? I guess we've had a good time, 3 o'clock, yeah, I suppose that's fair enough. Okay, we're out. You see, if either one of them had taken responsibility, then one would be alive today and the other one not facing charges of manslaughter. That's the difference between a victim and a master. The master has choice. Work out what he's going to do. But when you look at the victim, there's no choice here. Victims don't have a choice. In denial and blaming, there's no choice. There's no room to move. It's only the master, when they take responsibility, that they get that opportunity to sort things out and to work things out and to go forward in a way that's resolvable. So here we go. Master, responsibility and choice, and then who's in control? The master is the only one in control. The victim is never in control. The victim never has choice. It's the master that just took that step. Mm-hmm. Maybe we should take responsibility of our actions. Maybe we have overstepped the mark, and maybe we should pack up and go. It is always the best way forward. So this is a clue for you to tick some boxes. Now, if you go back through your life, there'll be some times when you would have ticked some boxes, maybe not in road rage, but in some smaller things where we can tick boxes about, oh yeah, I was complaining, being a bitch about that, and maybe I wasn't very forgiving. And we can think now, okay, if that happens again in the future, maybe I should take responsibility. Because every choice you've ever made in your life has led you to where you are right now. This is a very strong story about victim master. This story, as I've delivered to many, many people, can save your life in a situation that you were not expecting. So heed it, take the marks, tick the boxes, and take responsibility. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Ian. Sorry, thank you, Bob. I appreciate it. We've got the brothers here tonight. Bob, thank you very much for that. Actually quite entertaining, quite insightful as well. So hopefully everyone's got a takeaway message on that. Control. Next on the agenda, we have our workshop, our pronunciation, grammar, and from an ELTS program. Is that how you say it? IELTS program.
The pronunciation.
Pronunciation. We're going to learn it. We're going to learn it. We're going to learn this tonight, okay? I'd like to welcome now Ian Stanford with his workshop. I'll get his intro. Sorry, my mistake. Sorry. Ian's been a Toastmaster for 8 years now. He is a member of the Adelaide and Leadership Clubs. He also has a CC and CL. Ian has a degree in adult education with a graduate certificate in ESL, English as a Second Language. and specialises in teachings of IELTS, International English Language Testing System, and the pronunciation. I'm going to learn something tonight. Tonight he's going to give us an insightful into how to pronounce the important sounds that we are necessary for good communications. For without good communication, a speech has little value. Please welcome Ian Stanford.
Speak clearly. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. We are here to learn to deliver excellent speeches. Now, if you're not speaking clearly, and I'm mainly looking at those who don't have English as their first language, then how effective is your speech going to be? Your speech objective is to deliver a message. And you absolutely need to speak clearly. Even sometimes you think you're speaking clearly, but it might be just a bit hard for the audience to listen to you because of your pronunciation. And you're not even aware of it. So pronunciation is important. For those who have English as their first language, I would like to address you in terms of how pronunciation and the knowledge of our English pronunciation can be useful for you. At Toastmasters, you can be an evaluator or a mentor, and understanding why you do what you do will be useful for you when you evaluate or you mentor. So this is for you also to understand the sounds of the English language. When I became a teacher, I found it fascinating to find out why I do what I do. And it's automatic for us English speakers. We're brought up with it. There's been so much repetition that it's automatic for us. It just feels right. So if a non-English speaker asks you why you say it like that, you will not be able to tell them, usually. But you will be able to tell them whether it's correct or not. Because in your subconscious mind, you have learned what is correct and you do it automatically. So it's useful to know why you do what you do when you speak English. Now, I normally teach students one-on-one because every student has different challenges. They come from different languages, and their L1, as we call it, their original language, is different. And it's different in many ways. And they automatically bring their native language into English, but it doesn't belong here. And that causes a problem with communication. So that's what we call the accent. Now, there's nothing wrong with an accent. It gives flavour and character to you because that's where you come from. We don't need to get rid of the accent. It's wonderful. I love hearing the French. Oh, such a romantic... And the Italians, oh, da, da, da. It's magnificent. I love it. The challenge is to communicate. You need to communicate. If you're communicating effectively and the listener has no difficulty understanding your message and you have an accent, then there's no problem. So in a speech, you need to communicate, and if you do that, you'll get the applause, you'll get your message across. So let's look at what you need to do when you're not understood. I say this to every student, and it's common for everyone, so I say it to you. If someone says to you, pardon, or don't understand, or whatever, and you need to repeat yourself, do not repeat yourself exactly the way you did it the first time. You need to do something different, don't you? It's a sign of an idiot, isn't it? Doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So what do you need to do? You need to slow down. You see, if you slow down when you're speaking English, then you give yourself enough time to move your tongue, lips and teeth into the English position, which is a bit foreign because it's not necessarily what you did all your life in your native language. So if you just give yourself that little bit extra time and slow down and say the word or the sentence again, and you'd be surprised. They understand you. That was easy. So that's one key point, that if you can remember that, that could very well solve your whole problem. So, I'm finished now. You take away that, one message, and you fixed your pronunciation problems. Did you want me a bit more than that? Yeah, you'd like a bit more than that. There is in business a principle called the KISS principle. I've just given you a nice KISS principle. Slow down. As simple as that. There's another principle called the Pareto Principle. You probably know it as the 80-20 rule. In business it says 80% of your business comes from 20% of your clients. In pronunciation, we can say that of all the pronunciation challenges, 20% of them will cause the 80% of the problems. I originally thought that everyone had to be taught the TH sound, because the TH sound is unique to English. None of the other languages have it, so you've got to teach the TH sound. Well, do you really? No, it's not in the 20%. The Irish don't use it. Ask them what comes after two. You know what comes after two, don't you? Tree. Yeah, you understand the Irish. And if a non-English speaker says tree instead of three, do you understand them? Of course you do. So to teach the TH sound is not really necessary, is it? Communication has happened. So let's look at the 80-20 rule and identify the 20% of sounds which are really incremental, really important for communication. And it's not the TH sound, is it? The vowels in the English language are key sounds. You have one in every word to start with, and English is a stressed, timed language, which we haven't got time to go through with this session. But the vowel is one of the important stressed sounds which you need to make it very clear to the listener. And if you don't make that vowel clearly, then the whole word is not understood. And that word is probably the stressed word which is important in the whole sentence, and therefore the message is not received. So we need to look at the vowel sounds in the English language. And narrowing it down, there are certain vowel sounds which are more important than others. So we can really tone it down to some very small examples here. So that's what we're going to do. Now, let's look at this chart. These are the vowel sounds in the English language. There are some diphthongs, but we won't worry about those. These are the crucial ones. So let's look at the first one, which we can use to progress to all the others, and that is the E sound. The way to produce the E sound is all you need to do is smile. E, E, me, E. We can all do that? Not a problem, right? E, as in me, E. That is, your lips are spread. Now, we move from here and we move across here to this sound, which is oo. There, the lips are in a position, just imagine that you're blowing out the candles on a birthday cake. Now you have put your lips in the oo position. So don't blow the candles out, just leave your lips there and say too, oo, oo. Right, so we have moved from the smile, which is like this, and we're going to move our lips this way until we get to the oo sound. So let's try this. We'll go from E to I to U to oo. I'll say that slowly. E, I, U, oo. E, I, U, oo. Now we have the top row of vowel sounds. Let's go down this way. Now here, what we do is we move the jaw down. Leave the smile there and just drop your jaw. So we've got E, drop your jaw down a bit. E, E, A. Try that again. E, E, A. E, E, A. Now we're down at the A. We can go across here, do the same thing as we do it at the top, starting from the A. Now what are we going to do? We're going to bring the lips in. So we're going to start with the A, with the jaw down. A, O. And this sound is O. So it's if you imagine you have an orange and you push it into your mouth and you can't get it in, can you? You're going to choke. So it's O. That's an O sound. Orange. Now, what we've done here is we have, as indicated up here, that the tongue has moved back in your mouth. So as we say those sounds, you can feel your tongue and capture the sound. As you go from here to here and here to here, the tongue is being pushed, is being used back further in your mouth. So let's go through these sounds again, and so you can feel where your tongue is. Let's have a look at this one. When you say, oh, where is the sound? Oh, right back here, isn't it? Right back here. What about here? Ah. Where is it? It's forward, isn't it? It's not back here. So, and what about E? E, and A are all forward, if you think about it. E, A. You say all together and think about where the sound is. Is it forward or is it back here? E, A. It's forward, isn't it? So what about the oo sound? Ooh. Where is it? Where do you feel it? Right back here? So that's that progression from here forward, and it's going further back into your mouth. So here we've got the ah sound. Ah. 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 Oh. Okay, let's all hear it. Ah. 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 Oh. So if you know where your lips are and where the sound's coming from, then you can feel the sound. Now we need to put it into words, because there is a vowel in every single word in the English language. Now there's a concept which I learned a long time ago, which is intriguing. The concept is, and this is one of those KISS principle things again, the teacher learns more than the student. Can you believe that? So you may think you're learning something, but I'm learning more than you. I'm reproducing my knowledge and I'm portraying it, and in that action, I'm learning. So what I'd like to do is for you all to maybe get a pen and paper. I should have warned you previously that you're going to be doing something. So I'm going to pair you up and you're going to teach what I've just taught you. Sorry, I should have warned you before. I meant to do that. So I'll just go over it again. This first sound is a smile. This sound is like blowing out candles. And this one is like being choked with an orange pushed down into your mouth. Right? And you've got a progression across here, a progression down here, and one across here. We'll just leave these three alone for the moment, but they're intermediate ones. So, how are we going here? We've got, we'll leave Darren out. I'm going to A, B, you. You're an A, Bob, B. A and B. Right, okay. We'll pair up that. Now, do we have anyone on Zoom?
No, we don't.
We don't? Oh dear.
Just so you don't go forwards.
If you go go up and join up with Bob up the top. Or you can go around this way.
We had someone send all the cameras and lights for 6 earlier today. If we won't talk about them, will we, Ian?
No, we won't. Forgiveness is wonderful. So, A is going to teach B the principles up here of how you pronounce the vowels of the English language. So, you will have, let's say, 2 minutes. 2 minutes should be enough. 2 minutes for A to teach B the concepts that I've just gone through. How are we going for time? No. Halfway. Okay, time's up. Switch. B is now going to teach A.
Just careful with the cable.
Yeah.
And from there
You can clarify that for us,
So we're
please?
making an E sound,
You got that?
Yeah.
but then I've moved on to the
Ah,
example being...
no, you've gone a bit further than I
Okay.
allowed you to.
Alright, so I've chosen the wrong one to explain.
I will talk about that in a minute.
Okay then, I'll revert back to
Yeah.
the oo sound. In that case, what we've done is we've transitioned our smile
Yep.
into a pucker, like you've described when
Yep.
you're going to blow out the candles of a cake.
Yep.
So you, as if you're going to blow, but instead of blowing, you make the noise ooh,
Ooh.
ooh, and your lips will be almost in a complete circle when you do that. So it's very different from E, where you're smiling and your teeth are close together. Here, your teeth are still close together.
And
but
where
your
is the
lips-
sound coming from?
And the sound is coming from ooh, your mouth.
Right at the back.
Back here.
Okay,
back.
from right down the
Right
back
at the
of your
back.
throat.
Because all these are back.
Right.
So if you can feel the tongue, when you say these sounds, feel the tongue and feel it. See, where do you feel it?
E is at the front, and ooh is kind of at the back, yeah.
Kind of at the back, yeah.
Sort of in the bottom of your palate.
Yeah, yeah. So you've actually raised your tongue, and it's a back sound.
Okay, so E, your tongue is flat, and ooh, your tongue has come up a little bit.
No. The tongue is in the vowels. There is no tongue position. It's neutral.
Okay,
Yeah. So that I didn't tell you that. So we don't talk about the tongue with the
Okay.
vowels. We only talk about the tongue when we're talking about the consonants. Now we're talking about tongue is very, very important. But with the vowels, there is no tongue position. It's just neutral.
right.
Okay, then I never noticed that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when you practice the vowels and see what you do with your tongue.
Yeah, it seems to move a little bit, but maybe that's just
It's pretty neutral.
nuance.
Well, it's moving because you're moving. The tongue position with these at the end, it's back further, but you're not moving your tongue around in different places within your mouth,
Okay,
Okay.
like the TH sound. Where do you put your tongue?
right at the tip of
Right between your
yeah.
teeth, don't you?
Yep.
That's a consonant. Right. Okay, that's very good.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. How do we get? Oh, you pull it. Oh, here we go. $14 minutes. Right, good, thank you. Let's all come back. Now, how did you feel about that? Being the teacher. Did you? He was a good student, was he? Did he do as he's told? It's an interesting concept, isn't it? That when you have to teach it, you really have to pay attention and think about what you're teaching. And in that process, you learn yourself. So you might like to take that into the Toastmaster environment. So as a mentor or an evaluator, you're teaching and you're helping someone do something, and in the process you're learning yourself how to do it and understanding the intricacies of whatever you're teaching or helping them as a mentor. Now, the KISS principle has worked extremely well. So we've got some time over. So that's the beauty of the KISS principle, isn't it? Keeping it simple and understandable, and the principle comes across, the message comes across in the shortest possible time. And here we have extra time available. So let's have a look at the rest of the sounds, the ones in the middle. And it's this particular one, this strange upside down E, which is actually the most important sound in the English language. It is so important that we give it a name. It's called a schwa. S-C-H-W-A. You can look it up on the internet and learn all about the schwa. It is the sound which is used more than any other sound in the English language. It is the sound which we use because we are basically lazy. We want to make things easy, so we use a schwa. And we use a schwa to replace certain sounds. And you don't even know that you're doing it. But one of the important things in learning about English is that you need to notice. In noticing, you're able to see something which you hadn't previously noticed. And just in the process of noticing, you will then have a revelation that you go out and listen to English being spoken, and all of a sudden you hear it, like the schwa. If you become aware of it, you can notice it, and you can hear it everywhere. So let's have a look at the schwa. How do you pronounce the schwa? Well, I said it's a very lazy sound. So I like to take the analogy that it's like an ape. An ape, an ignorant ape. You go, "Ugh." Is that what apes do? "Ugh." Or you could think of a total idiot who goes, "Ugh, ugh." There's another way. If you hit your stomach, you go, "Oh, oh." So the sound is, Yeah, and we use it all the time. Now, I am a teacher. I'm not a teacher, am I? Am I a teacher? Is that the way you pronounce it? No. I'm a teacher. So the ER is converted to a schwa. I'm a teacher. A teach? You go to a medical clinic and you see that person there is a doctor. Doctor. So you have a doctor, a teacher, and we're using the schwa. We're using it all the time because we're lazy and we want to flow the language and skip over the unimportant parts of the English language. Because English is a stress-timed language, which means that we stress for certain words and sounds within a sentence. So we stress certain vowels, as we looked at here, in the important words, and we stress words within a sentence, and we stress those words which are important. Because we want the listener to hear the stressed words. The others are just joining words and they're not that important, but they just like glue within the sentence. But it's the stressed words that are important. And that's different from other languages, which are syllable-timed languages, which means that with each syllable, they have equal stress. and English, we don't do that. It's a major difference between half of the languages, or probably more than half of them if you count Mandarin with the huge populations. So there's a big difference between syllable-timed languages and stress-timed languages like English. So that's a bit of a challenge for speakers who are used to the syllable stressed to us. Syllable stress is like a machine gun. Do, 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 equals stress. So these are major differences which speakers who have English as their second language have this challenge. That's what they're challenged with. And they're so used to their native language, it's so embedded within their subconscious mind that they can't help to bring those concepts over to English. But they just don't belong in English. So they need to make this transition from their language, their native language, to English. And that is the challenge of speakers who have English as their second language. And we can help them with that transition by getting them to notice the differences that exist between their native language and English. And through this chart will be a start to enable them to make those sounds which are so important in English. Because the challenge with most people is that English has many more sounds than the vowel sounds than other languages. And particularly with Polish and Russian and those Eastern European countries, they have a problem here. These three sounds are all one in their language. So, a and are the same. They have one sound which takes up all of those three. So they'll use the same sound for all of them. So let's look at an example here. Cat is an a sound. Cat, and let's just change the vowel to an a sound, cut. The r sound, cart. So we've got cat, cut, cart. And for those languages, they cannot do that. And so they're going to be misunderstood, aren't they? Did they say cat? Did they say cut? Did they say car? No, it didn't sound like, it's just all the same. So with this chart, they can see where the differences are. So here is a way you can help non-English speakers get a grasp of the sounds, the extra sounds within English, which they simply just don't have. The main one, getting back to the Pareto Principle, the main one here is really fairly characteristic of all languages, the difficulties with pronouncing the E and the I. So very commonly, there is a problem with pronouncing sheep and ship. The only difference is the E and the I sound. So they will pronounce sheep and ship exactly the same. And you won't know the difference. So what do they mean? Do they mean sheep or do they mean ship? So it's an E sound and it's an I sound. So when I say it to you as English speakers, you can clearly hear the difference. But they can't. It's all the same to them. put it all together. Some examples of that are bean and bin, heel and hill, peel and pill. And the really difficult one is make sure you pronounce your bedding correctly. It's called a sheet. So make sure you pronounce it correctly. Oh.
Thank you, Ian. It was a wonderful, insightful session. It's great. One thing we love to do in this club is to draw on the skills and knowledge of our members. And that's what we're going to be doing going forward. And once a month, the Leadership SA Toastmasters is going to run an advanced style workshop using professionals to share what they know. So we're broadcasting right at the moment, right across Region 12. If you would like to be part of this, reach out to our immediate past District Director, Sue Pedrick. She's the one who's put the link in there. And she'll keep you posted of new events as they come along. And we'll set up a proper Zoom meeting where you can register, and we'll send you reminder emails, and we'll help lift the Toastmaster skills all around the region. Right now, we are heading off to our dinner break, so we'll be closing the live feed. Anyone who is in the Zoom room, please feel free to go get your own dinner, and we'll come back here in 20 minutes, I think. Thank you.